How to ruin your reality. Destroying the entirety of your reality is actually easier than you could ever imagine. And what people don't realize about manifestation is that there's offense and there's defense. And more often than not, you're lacking D. Pause. And in this particular video, I'm going to show you 6 steps on how you can actually destroy the entirety of all the progress that you've been making, because more often than not, it's likely that you're watching videos, taking notes, make sure you leave them in the comments as usual, and putting all of this stuff into practice. But unfortunately, what you don't realize is my definition of manifestation is internally shifting to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. That process can be disrupted by 6 things that you do without even realizing that quite literally throw everything in vain. So as you can see, our boy right here is on his knees, pause, and heartbreak, broken earth. This is your world destroyed. And that's an explosion. You can't tell me I'm not getting better at drawing.
We spent 30 minutes on this.
Right? So let's get into it.
How often do you change that spray?
Every week. You know I like it wet, bro.
Me too, bro. Me too. Yo, one of the... Before you start, yeah. Can someone make sense of this? Hi to you and AJ. Full stop. Looking like
Hi.
daddy.
What? Hi to you and AJ looking like daddy.
Yes.
Is she saying me or you or us?
I have no clue. I'm gonna assume it's you though.
You're gonna assume it's me?
Yep.
I think that's just a cop out, to be honest.
With them big ass shoulders.
My shoulders aren't that big, bro.
Okay.
They're literally not that big. Oh.
I seen what the guys put in the chat. A screen recording of when I said all I want this year is shoulders like Nero.
Okay.
Real.
Okay, cool. So guys, as I said, destroying the entirety of your reality simply comes from you scrambling your frequency. What you have to understand about the nature of reality is that the frequency that you output corresponds to a particular reality. And unfortunately, more often than not, there's not a particular level of clarity in the frequency that you're outputting. You have to understand, if you send mixed signals to the universe, you unfortunately confuse the universe. And the universe, having you established at a pre-energetic level that is somewhat what it's used to, it will drop you back to that level, even if you do make an attempt to change that frequency. So as I said, your frequency, in order for you to materialize your reality, it needs to be clear and it needs to be strong. These 6 things that people don't realize that they do destroy your frequency each and every time. It confuses it and scrambles it. And unfortunately, a confused frequency will only lead to a reality of equivalent confusion. Because before anything can exist physically, it first must exist vibrationally. So we have to make sure that, yes, you're doing everything that you need to be doing, but you also need to be protecting your frequency. Because if you do not protect your frequency, then the world will calibrate your frequency. And if the world can calibrate your frequency, it can put you into a reality that it wants you to be in, and best believe it will. If you do not brainwash yourself, you'll be brainwashed. If you do not program yourself, you will be programmed. If you do not calibrate and tune your own frequency, the world will calibrate and tune your frequency for you. So it's important that I get you guys to understand how first this process materializes, because really and truly reality is nothing more than a materialization of consciousness. Consciousness being interchangeable with frequency, also being interchangeable with imagination or mind. It's all the same. It's all the same thing. It really doesn't matter how you want to conceptualize it. All that matters is that you understand the prerequisite to the materialization of your reality, because what people don't realize is that they play the game of reality backwards. Due to the fact that we are conditioned to associate action with the result, not understanding the multi-dimensional explanation of how reality is materialized, we end up working ourselves into a trap, which is actually one of the steps. But the first thing, if you want to ruin your reality, just do this one thing. In fact, do all of these things, but just do this one thing. You know I know how to live up my snares as the clock can't even handle me right now. Man, I would have done crazy drugs back then if I was allowed to go to clubs in those time periods. Honestly. The worst thing you can actually do is complain. Now let me explain why. If you want to ruin your reality, please complain about your reality. Please, just keep doing it. Why not? Do it. And here's why complaining ruins your reality. And please extrapolate this to whatever particular condition that you're going through. If you complain about your finances, if you complain about relationships, if you complain about how you're treated in the world, if you complain about your workplace, if you complain about how your world looks like, all of these things. Complaining is a confession. These are my confessions. It's a confession of your state of consciousness. What do I mean by that? When you complain, what you're doing without realizing is giving reality strength. You're giving reality strength because you're acknowledging it. And you're saying, this is real. This is so real that this is a problem for me. And this is so much of a problem for me that whatever you're complaining about, you allow it to alter your internal. You allow the external to alter the internal. Ironically, when the internal is altered, the external is altered. And what you have to understand is, besides what these spiritual niggas will tell you, none of this information, guys, I've read over 400 books. I've been studying this stuff for years. I still go through shit, just like the rest of you niggas. And what you have to come to an understanding of is that this particular spiritual archetype that they present, that everything is going to be perfect and you're never going to have issues, is actually in direct opposition to the nature of the universe. The nature of the universe is polarity and rhythm. You'll be swinging back and forth, the pendulum swings back and forth, there'll be highs and there's lows, it's inescapable. You're always gonna go through shit in reality. But how you navigate that particular level of adversity is what makes all the difference. And one thing that we often do without realizing is complaining about the very circumstances that we're going through. We'll complain that, oh, they don't want to hire me at my job. Oh, business has been slow. Oh, men are trash, women are hoes, so on and so forth. We'll complain about all these particular experiences that we go through without realizing that that particular degree of complaining is a confession of our state of consciousness. Our state of consciousness will always be materialized into reality because consciousness and reality are one. And when you complain about a circumstance, what you're not realizing is that you're admitting that this particular circumstance possesses the capability to alter your internal. And if your internal is altered as within, as without, listen to that order, as within, as without, on earth as it is in heaven. What you're essentially saying is that whatever particular form of adversity has the capability of altering your internal, and your internal ultimately reflecting to your external, you can see how the chain of events go on and play. And it gets even worse, because what you don't realize about complaining is that complaining comes with a particular degree of frustration. It comes with irritation. It comes with annoyance, anger, sadness, despair. And what you don't realize is that more often than not, you have to understand, emotion is the most powerful energy source in this entire universe. They say your thoughts create reality. Not all thoughts are made equal. That's a borrow that down. And the thoughts that possess the most power are the thoughts that have emotion behind it, because the vibration is completely altered due to the frequency of emotions themselves, because emotion is an energy emotion. Energy emotion is an energetic signature, which we call a vibration. That vibration eventually gains momentum, becomes a frequency. That frequency becomes a reality. If I can control your emotions, I can control your energy emotion. If I can control your energy emotion, I can control your vibration. If I can control your vibration, I can control your frequency. And if I can control your frequency, I can control your reality. So more often than not, when you're complaining, what you're not realizing is that you're not only admitting your state of consciousness, but you're combining that state of consciousness with emotion. Now you have mental and emotional energy combining. Now you have the basis of a reality. And you don't even realize it. Because when you're complaining, you're so annoyed, you're like, fuck, it's not working. Or whatever it may be. And what are you smiling at?
The noises are a bit weird, bro.
What are you smiling at?
Keep doing you, though.
What you have to understand is that also within complaints is a particular degree of conviction. Conviction is what true faith is. If you go to the etymological origins of the word faith, it comes from a Latin word fides. Fides meant confidence, close to conviction. So when you have a particular thing that you're complaining about, you're not only admitting that this reality is temporarily stronger than you, it alters your internal, alters your external. Because it's stronger than you, you submit to it and go below it. But you're also admitting your particular state of consciousness and what you're experiencing. And then you're combining that state of consciousness with emotions, which what you don't realize is that these emotions are actually a form of glue that sticks to whatever you're complaining about, making it even stronger. Complaining is no bueno. It is not good at all. And so long as you keep complaining about a particular circumstance that you're going through, you're not only strengthening that circumstance, you're not only admitting that there is power in that circumstance, you're also combining two particular forms of energy, mental and emotional. Mental and emotional leads to creation. And you have to come to the understanding that so long as you complain about whatever particular circumstance you're going through, you're actually reinforcing it and strengthening it into your reality. I repeat, whatever reality you complain about, you are reinforcing it and giving it more strength. The first thing you need to stop doing is stop complaining about whatever particular circumstances you're going through, because you have to understand you can't control what's outside of you. But indirectly you can, because you can control your internal world. Your internal world being a reflection of your external world. The more that you're able to exercise a particular degree of discipline and come to the understanding that whatever you're complaining about is a form of an emotional reaction, and you understand whatever you're reacting to, you are creating. I repeat, whatever you are reacting to, you are creating. So when you start complaining about how this and this and this and that and this and that, understand that you're putting yourself on a path to creation, because you're temporarily submitting yourself to the frequency of whatever particular form of adversity that you're going through.
By the way, someone said the solo leveling is shit.
Ed, ignored. If you want to scream, yeah, let me know and I'll take you there. Get you going like, oh, baby, baby, oh, baby, baby. If I could time travel, honestly, if I could time travel, I'd go back to that 2010 period. Imagine being in the club, hearing, oh, don't you know, oh, beautiful, don't you know.
Nah,
Then the beat
Brown.
drops, din, 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 din.
Chris Brown is him.
Nah, he is.
Is him?
He is.
But so is The Weeknd.
The Weeknd is really like that.
I didn't know The Weeknd was really like that until
I didn't know he was like that either.
until like I think it was probably even last year.
How did you realize?
My girl was like, "Oh, The Weeknd." I'm like, "Oh, girls and this Weeknd stuff." Then I listened
Nah,
to
girls
it.
love The Weeknd.
Yeah, a bit too much though.
Ask me
But-
if I do this every day.
I was listening to him. I was like, "He's spitting."
Nah, he's like that. Stop.
Yeah.
What color next? See, guys, we had to upgrade the equipment. You know what I'm saying?
Bro's got so many colors.
Too many. It's actually terrible. Like, it's, I don't even know what colors to use. All right, cool. Let's go with green, blue. The second thing to do, if you want to continue ruining your reality, my nigga, of course, is upon a hill across a blue lake, that's where I had my first heartbreak. Please, moralize the universe. If you want to ruin your reality, moralize the universe. Do it. Do it. Do it. The reason why this ruins your reality more often than not is due to the way that we have been, how do I say, conditioned or wired as human beings. We've been wired as human beings, especially from a religious context and a societal context, with this kind of fake notion that if you're a good person, it should equate to a good reality. But more often than not, it is not the case. Ask anybody who's ever been in the ghetto, because trust me, there's a lot of nice people there. Some of the nicest people ever. But you have to come to the understanding that, like I said, due to the societal convention of morality, which is nothing more than societal, we need morality in order for things to work. But you've been sold a lie, whether you realize this consciously or unconsciously, and that is that morality equates to your desired reality, and that's just not the truth. It's not the truth at all. And you actually need to come to this understanding. And yes, it's very upsetting and it's very depressing, trust me. There was a period of my life where, you know, through studying this stuff, I carried a lot of pain, because it hurt me to the fact that, you know, there's amazing people out here, angels, that will continue to struggle. You know, watching my mom and my auntie go through the absolute angels, and we could never conceptualize why things wouldn't work. And if you're religious, this is another notion, right? Except religious people tend to gaslight themselves by saying, don't worry, God's got you, yada, yada, yada. But deep down, we all know this particular notion that if we're a good person, it should equate to a good reality. But this is not the truth at all. And the reason we do that is because we see the universe through our lens. And until you're able to see the universe outside of your particular human lens, you will continue to suffer. That's, I'll borrow that down. Because the deeper issue here is what we don't realize is that we're attempting to moralize the universe. We're attempting to moralize the universe, but the universe does not care for morality. And yes, I know it's a very painful concept for you to come to a recognition of, but so long as you can actually be honest with yourself, it is the true nature of it all. Because if we take the impersonal energies such as electricity, electricity doesn't do a credit check or a criminal background check before it zaps somebody. If you misuse the energy of electricity, you're going to suffer. And it's the same thing with the consciousness of God. If you misuse the consciousness of God, you will suffer. Let's all borrow that down. And that's what Isaiah 45:7 was talking about. I create the peace, I create the evil, I create the calm, I create the calamity, I create the light, I create the dark. I, the law of consciousness, do all of these things. It's the same way as gravity. Gravity doesn't also do a criminal background check, mate. You know, as you're falling, it says, what's this guy done? What's it? Nah, he's a good guy. Let's stop. No, it is impersonal. And that's the thing about all of these laws. They're impersonal. And it was said in the Bible that the rain falls on the just and the unjust. The nature of reality is the same to everybody. Acts 10:34, God is no respecter of persons. There's a particular understanding that you need to come to, that the universe is impersonal. And because it's impersonal, when you attempt to moralize it, and either you think to yourself, why is things not working? I'm such a good person. I'm a good person. It's not about that. Because here's the thing, and I heard this from Reverend Ike, and it's absolutely amazing. You can be morally right, but mentally wrong. And if you're morally right but mentally wrong, best believe your reality is going to be wrong. And this is what you need to come to an understanding of. And it's that the universe only cares about your frequency. The universe only cares about your frequency. The frequency that you output to reality is going to be given the equivalent of whatever particular condition of reality that you experience is a mental, emotional equivalent. Period. That's it. There's nothing more, there's nothing less. It's not necessarily about you helping that old lady cross the road. It's not about the amount of times that you've been selfless and other people have put themselves before you and you put other people first. You need to get outside of that thinking. You need to stop thinking like a human and start thinking like the universe. The universe is nothing more than a blind intelligence. It doesn't hate you. It doesn't love you. It is simply impersonal. And I see spiritual people attempt to moralize the universe all the time and say that it wants your good and it wants this. No, nigga, it wants whatever you want because it is you. You are quite literally a walking universe. So best believe, if you want bad, it will give you bad. But see, you think because you think you want good, that's what you really want. No, what you want on a humanistic level and what the universe interprets as wanting is two completely different things. You're wanting based upon the universe's interpretation, and best believe that's the only interpretation that matters when it comes to reality. So take yourself out the way, stop thinking like a human and start thinking like the universe. The universe's interpretation of wanting is whatever particular frequency that you're emanating at that particular moment in time. So if your frequency is calibrated to poverty, but because you're a good person and you help people and you do all of this, you think you deserve prosperity, it's not going to give you that. Hence why bad things happen to good people and good things can happen to bad people. Because if you study the consciousness of bad people, they believe that they deserve it. They're entitled to it. They see themselves as capable. They see themselves as powerful. They don't particularly care what other people think. These things, unfortunately, create a stronger frequency than good people. And this is the true nature of reality. And you need to attempt to start moralizing it. People will often be like, yeah, but what about somebody who's born here and they go through this? You can do that all you want. Please go ahead and do it, because nothing is going to make a difference. It's unfortunate on a humanistic level. It's very unfortunate and it's very painful. But as you transcend your perception beyond your human perception, because the human perception is nothing more than attached to this third dimensional realm, which is inherently a realm of illusion. Whether you want to look at it as polarity, time-space constraint, we are trapped within this third dimensional realm, which means our perception of this realm, which we can only see 0.0035% due to the fact that the visible light spectrum is a tiny fraction of the entire electromagnetic spectrum. We're inherently trapped just by nature of being here. So our level of perception is very low level. And in order for you to materialize your desired reality, you need to transcend and start moralizing the universe. The only thing you should seek to do to enter your desired reality is to become the mental emotional equivalent, because in doing so, that will create a particular frequency that will be equivalent with that desired reality. And if you maintain that frequency, it will lead to the creation and materialization of your desired reality, currently replacing your current reality. So please, stop moralizing the universe.
This man will forever be my savior.
Somebody commented that.
Yep.
I'm nobody's savior. I'm nobody's savior. I'm nobody's I'm nobody's savior. I'm nobody's teacher. Nor do I desire to be. Guys, just take the information. That's quite literally it. Because the moment you start to see me as separate from you, you entirely miss the point of anything that I'm saying here. Nothing I'm saying here, you know, is greater than anything you possess really and truly. Like, I keep telling you guys this. I could be the worst nigga you know. You could meet me. I could kidnap you, put you in my basement. It's long. It's actually long.
He's right. I'm in his basement right now.
Exactly, and you're never going out of here. So just keep playing that piano.
I'm trying to learn new songs.
No, you're not allowed to learn new songs. You can play a new song next year.
You know who I recently discovered is cold as well? Justin Timberlake.
Justin Timberlake has been like that, bro. I can't wait till I get you on the floor, good looking. All right, cool. Next one. Which one should I go with here? Why not? I start rapping and re-offended. You know when the trap needs mending. Too much mixing a brizzy. You know when the pat needs blending. Buy it, copy it, tell me it's shot. The gangs I'm spending. Too much cap I'm hearing. Too much swag they're wearing. Alright, cool. So, next thing that will surely ruin your reality. And we're only, what, are we 3 ones in? 3 in? Yeah, there's a lot of things that will ruin your reality. Seek the approval of those around you. This will, what's?
I thought he was only 2 in.
This is the 3rd one.
Okay.
Yeah, complaining, moralizing the universe, and this is number 3.
You're right.
This guy doesn't pay attention.
You're right.
He doesn't pay attention.
You're right.
He doesn't pay attention. He's just scrolling on his phone.
I'm locked in the basement. Leave me alone.
I'm not gonna give you, I'm not feeding you later. Pause. Now, seek the approval of those around you. Because if you want to destroy your desired reality before it's even began, please do this. Please do this. Please. Because what you don't realize is that there's an energetic entity that I call social contracts. Your social contract is what you signed for. So first we have to look at this from a point of evolutionary psychology. And I recommend reading a book called Primal Brain. I love evolutionary psychology. It's a study of the primal brain, or the lower self, or the devil, or the beast, or the reptilian brain. And let me not say reptilian because I know I still get those allegations. But we were wired as human beings from a point of evolutionary psychology to evolve in groups, right? Conform. And in order to be the group, there's a particular degree of conformity, which means approval is something that's a necessity, to the point where a punishment centuries ago was exile. And that's due to the fact that when them niggas kicked you out, your brain basically said, I'm dead, I'm cooked. It's over for me. That's why exile was such a punishment, because it signaled death to your primal brain. Now, approval in of itself is something that the moment that you materialize down into this physical plane, you sign a contract with those around you for their approval. You desire approval. And what you don't realize is that the materialization of your desired reality is probably nothing normal. It's probably nothing normal at all. It's probably very different from those around you. And keyword right there, different. When you begin to be different, what you don't realize you're doing is that you're starting to disconnect and break the social contract that you signed up for. In order for you to materialize your reality, you must transcend the status quo. The status quo is an energetic entity. Think about it like a hive mind that says everybody needs to stay in line. And if everybody's in line, then everything's good. But the moment somebody wants to poke their head up, nah. That's when that entity will then quite literally possess, and I don't mean possess literally, I just mean it due to the fact that this entity is somewhat existing within all of our consciousnesses to one degree or another. And it's kind of the Agent Smith effect, right? When you begin to be different, that's when people start to say, you went Hollywood. You changed. I swear, in the ends, that's the worst thing anybody can say to you. In the ghetto, that's the worst thing anybody can say to you. You've changed. You're almost like, no! And it's due to the fact that we want approval. And we understand that our approval is essentially attached to a particular degree of conformity. So what you don't realize is that so long as you seek the approval of those around you, you seek to conform. So long as you seek to conform, you remain within the entity of the status quo. The entity of the status quo is nothing more than an entity, a frequency. And every frequency must turn into a reality. And what that ends up looking like is you being in the same position as everybody else. Which clearly you don't want, or you still wouldn't be here. And here's the irony of it all, and this can be extrapolated to anything that we ever desire in reality. If you desire the approval of those around you, what you don't realize is that you lack your own. That's what bar that down. But wait, it gets deeper. Pause. And due to the fact that you seek the approval of those around you is an indication that you lack your own approval. And if you lack approval internally, it will be reflected externally. So you'll be in a cycle of chasing people's approval without realizing that you're not creating their approval and you're not getting it due to the fact that you lack it internally. And because you lack it internally, you lack it externally. So what's the fucking point? Anyways, have you worked that hard to stay the same? And it gets even worse, because if the approval of those around you, and let's say love and approval, because they're very much intertwined, unfortunately. If the love and approval of those around you is conditional on you staying like them and not evolving, why would you even want that for yourself to begin with? How true is it? How authentic is it? If your elevation is a type of disrespect to those around you, then why even be there? Why even be there? And this is the easiest way to ruin your life, because energetically you enter the hive mind of the status quo. The status quo is a frequency. That frequency has one purpose, and that's to keep you in line. When it keeps you in line, because it's a frequency, eventually has to materialize as a reality. And when it materializes as a reality, you feel like you just can't break out of this. You can't just break out of it. But then if we also look at it mentally, you're lacking a sense of internal approval. And ironically, the moment that you begin to approve yourself, you force the world to approve of you, whether they like it or not. How could it not? You and reality are one. The moment you give it to yourself, the reality has no choice but to give it to you.
Pause on that.
It is the quickest way to destroy your desired reality, because it's unfortunate, because it's like a decision has to be made. Do I want the love and approval of those around me? But then is it love and approval if it's conditional on me staying like everybody else? And think about it, this is even psychologically, because let's say in school when you've done a test with somebody, if you've done a test and you know you absolutely fucked that test, you knew it was terrible, and your friend comes out and they're like, yo, I fucked up on that test. There's a part of you that feels comfortable in that. It kind of feels like, okay, it's not that bad. But if you fucked up on a test and your friend comes out and they're like, yo, that was easy, you're thinking, it doesn't feel the same. And reverse. When you come out and you do a test and your friend tells you how it was terrible, you feel guilty. Because there's an aspect of you psychologically that wants to relate. It wants to conform. It wants to approve. It wants to be like everybody else. But unfortunately, in order to enter your desired reality, you need to become unapologetically different. And that's a bar that down. Because what you don't realize is that so long as you have that particular aspect of guilt associated with your desired reality, the frequency that guilt emits will negatively alter your desired reality. And it will negatively alter it so your desired reality never materializes. And this is how people begin self-sabotaging. Why would you not self-sabotage? You've associated your success with disapproval, with hate, with not being able to relate. So why would you want to get into it? You need to become aware of these things. So let me ask you a question that is a very, very deep but unfortunate question. What or who would you lose if you gained your desired reality? And in that answer, you'll come to find out the very things that you're afraid of. Because more often than not, we think to ourselves, I want my desired reality. But we haven't taken into consideration what it would mean for us to enter that reality on a social level. And that social level is very tied to our psychological level, and that approval, so on and so forth. If you know that if you made it and you completely changed, that you'd never be able to be like those around you, Why would you want that? Psychologically. So if you want to ruin your reality, keep seeking the approval of those around you. And Lao Tzu, the author of a book called Tao Te Ching, highly recommend it. Taoism is amazing philosophy. He says, those who care about what others think become their prisoner. And the prison that they trap you in is whatever frequency that they're outputting. And that frequency that they're outputting is a box, which means you will be in a box in reality. Don't leave me, girl. Please stay with me too. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh.
Yo, this is sick. How can someone say this video is tough because of you and I make 6 figures a month? All I had to do was surrender.
He makes 6 figures a month. Hey, nigga, can I borrow some money?
I hear that still.
Nah, that's cool, man. Congratulations. That's a pleasure and an honor. You said you was talking to that guy who's been watching the videos and he manifested working the European Space Station.
Yeah. He was on TV. He sent me a story. The story's gone now. I probably should have screen recorded.
Should have screen recorded, put that nigga's face on blast in this video. Well done again, bro. No, we love to hear it, man. We love to hear it.
For real.
Don't leave me, girl. And to all the podcasters and other YouTube channels that wish to collab with me, please stop messaging me. And what I mean that respectfully. Unfortunately, why are you laughing?
Brother said, don't message me.
No. Let me land. Unfortunately, I don't have a thirst or a desire that bad to collaborate with people I don't know. To me, most of these niggas are weird. And because of that, a lot of people end up collaborating with other channels and other creators just for exposure. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm more than happy with my community. I believe I have the best community on YouTube. Like, where else are you gonna find funny, spiritual, intellectual niggas? Like, you're just not gonna find that anywhere. So I have no desire to do it. I have no desire to collaborate with people I don't know. The only people that you guys will ever see me collaborate with are people that are my friends. I've been invited on podcasts with over 1 million. I've been invited on podcasts with 500K, channels that are way bigger than me by influencers that are way bigger than me. But because I don't know these niggas in real life, I can't bring myself to go and create something with them. Because when I do this stuff, yeah, I make jokes, but this stuff really matters to me. And you guys matter to me. I don't want exposure that bad. You'll see me collaborate with a nigga who's a friend of mine, who's got 100 or 20 or 30 or 500 subscribers before you see me collaborate with somebody with over 1 million that I don't know. You understand what I'm saying?
I hear you, twin.
Nero approves this message. Give me everything tonight. For all we know, we might not. This is the 4th one. We might not get tomorrow. Let's do it tonight. It is enough. Let's do it tonight. Grab somebody sexy. Tell them. Hey. Ignore reality. Number 4, ignore reality. Now, a mistake that I often see a lot of other people in the manifestation space tell people is to ignore reality. But you don't understand how that energetically is interpreted by the universe. You have to understand that the entirety of this universe is alive. Everything has a particular vibration. This is one of the Hermetic laws, the Hermetic law of vibration. Nothing rests, everything vibrates. And because it vibrates, it gives off an energetic signature. Because it gives an energetic signature, it is quite literally alive. You have to understand that the nature of reality, whether it's your old frequency, whether it's reality, it is alive. And any time that you experience a particular form of adversity in your reality and you don't want to confront it, in fact, let's say ignore or avoid, because they're the same thing, right? What you don't realize is that this is a confession that it's been a long time since I've been on my knees. Pause. This is a confession that whatever you're trying to avoid is stronger than you. You have to understand how it works. So the moment that you begin to be afraid of a particular condition, and the most common example, especially with my clients, by the way, I had a client called Ricky. He was doing 100K a month. Then for whatever reason, his business fell all the way down to making like 10K a month and stuff like that. And in 2 months, he hit 110K. So Ricky, I'm proud of you. And if you're an entrepreneur who's stuck at a revenue ceiling and you've been stuck there for some months, I can break you out there without making any changes to your business, just to your mind. Link in the description. But my point is, typically when it comes to bank accounts, and this could be whatever, right? This could be a person, it could be a condition, circumstance, event, extrapolate this to whatever your particular reality entails. In the instance where clients will come to me and they'll say, oh, my bank account is like this, I don't want to look at my bank account, I haven't checked my bank account. And we do this all the time, innit? Especially if you know, like, you've been spending money you shouldn't be spending. You don't even want to look at your account. You go on a night out, you're there, getting a section, getting bottles, long. Get a holiday, over. Listen, you don't want to look at your account. There's an aspect of you that seeks to avoid it, an aspect of you that seeks to ignore it. And what you don't realize energetically is that that particular form of adversity is interpreting that as this individual doesn't realize their power to a degree, so they're avoiding me. And because they're avoiding me, I must be more powerful. Your avoidance and your desire to ignore a condition of reality that is a form of adversity is a confession that that particular circumstance is more powerful than you at that particular moment in time. And due to the fact that there are no truths in reality other than what the subconscious mind accepts as true, that becomes a truth and that circumstance begins to overpower you without you realizing that the power in that circumstance is coming from you. That's a bar that down. Whatever hard time that you're going through, pause, and you feel like you're being overpowered and things are just absolutely terrible, you have to come to the understanding that that chaos is fueled by you because it's a creation of you. Whether unconscious or unconscious, it's a creation of you nonetheless, which means that the power that it has over you is actually your power. You've just projected that power onto it as opposed to you. When you come to that mental recognition, you can redirect that power and say, no, it's me. The power is mine in that particular circumstance. And this begins to be the case when you're seeking to ignore reality. Because if you're seeking to ignore reality, reality essentially says, all right, cool. Reality says, calm, say less, I'll make you my bitch. Because clearly you don't have the power to deal with me. And we do this all the time in multiple ways that we don't even realize. Because the whole totality of you entering your desired reality has to be you embodying that frequency. You must internally shift to a degree to which you're no longer emotionally dependent upon seeing reality change. You need to become the vibrational alignment of whatever it is that you're trying to materialize. You need to stop trying to manifest and become vibrationally aligned to that particular circumstance or that desired reality that you want. So my question to you is, whatever adversity that you're experiencing, instead of ignoring it, think to yourself, how would I move if I was in my desired reality with this? If I was in my desired reality, it wouldn't be an issue because I know that the money in my account is going to come there soon, so it's not even that deep. That mentality is completely different because you have to understand everything you do indicates something. Everything you do indicates something, consciously or unconsciously. And you need to be aware of what you're unconsciously indicating. If you're like, nah, I can't even look at this, I can't even look at this, I can't even look at this. Think about what it is that you're indicating to the universe. You're indicating that there's something within that particular circumstance that has the potentiality to alter you internally. And if it can alter you internally, it will then eventually alter you externally. And if it possesses the power to do that, then that means it possesses power over you. And if it possesses power over you, then you will be under it. So you need to come to understanding that the whole point of you experiencing adversity, you need to use the adversity that you experience or the counter reality as an opportunity to reinforce your desired reality. You can reinforce your old reality or reinforce your desired reality. And the only way you're going to do that is by beginning to step in light of what you would do in your desired reality. And whether you believe this or not, you wouldn't move like that if you was in your desired reality. So why the fuck are you moving like that now? And if you're moving like that now, then how could you expect to be anywhere else except your old reality? Hence why transmutation, and I'll give it quickly right here. My 3 steps on transmutation, I call it the 3 T's. I teach all my clients this. First one, transcend. Second one, transmute. Third, transform. And please make sure you're paying very close attention here and you're writing this down, because this 3-step process will give you the potentiality on how to properly confront and deal with reality so you transmute whatever it is that you're experiencing. The first T, transcend. You have to understand that your adversity or your old frequency knows that if I give this person hell, there's a default response. That default response is going to be mental and emotional. That mental and emotional is a particular form of energy that your old frequency sustains itself off. It's expecting you to act one way. So if it's expecting you to act one way and you act that one way, you're feeding it. And if you're feeding it, you're strengthening it. And if you're strengthening it, then it ends up going from a frequency to a reality. Frequency to a reality. Remember, all realities are first frequencies. So transcending is first getting to a point of neutrality. And the one thing that you need to do anytime that you're experiencing adversity is not to run away, not to turn away. And this could be a person, it could be a circumstance, it could be a condition, it could be an event, it could be a bank account. The first thing you need to do is quite literally stare into it. No bullshit. I say it to all my clients who are uncomfortable with their bank accounts when they come to me. Stare at your bank account. Whether it takes you 20, 30, 40 minutes, because all those negative thoughts and emotions that you've been avoiding are at the back of your head waiting to come out. And best believe, when you stare at it and you confront it, it will. And what you're waiting for is for that energy to dissipate, because the illusion that the old frequency presents is that these negative thoughts and emotions are going to be with you forever. No, that energy will dissipate the more that it comes to surface, but what you resist persists. And when you put it to the back of your mind, what you don't realize is that you're actually cultivating it to go stronger because it's persisting. So you actually need to confront it with a particular degree of neutrality. And once you get to that point of neutrality, that energy eventually dissipates, then you can move on to transmute. Then you need to begin to look for the positivity in whatever the condition is that you're trying to avoid. So in a condition where you're, let's say, and please extrapolate this to whatever, in a condition where you're trying to avoid your bank account because it's low, the positive thing is to actually focus on the fact that you've had money come into your account. Very simplistic, but nonetheless more powerful, because the most obvious reaction, it will take you to your old reality, but the most unobvious reaction will take you to your desired reality. Default instead of design. And that's the issue. You focus on the default instead of the design, as opposed to the design. The third is transform. After you've shifted from neutrality to positivity, transform. Then it's about maintaining that frequency and doing this process again and again and again, instead of trying to run away from reality. Because reality will say, calm, I'm gonna make this thing my bitch, say less. You don't want that. You don't want to be your old frequency's bitch, I promise you. We've all been that for too long. We're being walked around here on leashes like dogs. No kinky shit.
Someone said, went to church today to show face. Came to Sunday school to show frequency.
That's real. That's real. We should promote that, nigga. How can we promote people here? Bro, 2 things we need to start doing. We need to start banning niggas and exiling niggas and promoting them. We need to do that.
I said promoting them.
That's real. That's real spill. That is real spill. Bro, I just came back from Italy.
Ooh. How was it?
It was amazing. Beautiful. I was in the Dolomites, the mountains. Absolutely amazing. Even better company. But the hotel was too nice. There was no pizzas, Sam. There was no pasta. I didn't have pizza, I didn't have pasta.
Bro, no pasta.
Nope.
No pasta, no pizza in Italy's wild.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Niggas was serving me duck parfait and thinking.
I don't even know what parfait is, man.
Brother. I wanted some oxtail, fam.
But there's no Uber Eats?
Nah, because we was in the mountains. 1,500 feet above sea level. So literally high up in the mountains. Checked Uber Eats, said nothing. Checked this Italian app, said nothing. We don't deliver there.
That's some rich nigga shit.
Can't deny the frequency, man. Oh, and guys, I'm writing a book.
Yeah.
Woo!
Let's put a sound effect. They're all clapping. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm writing a book. The title that right now I'm thinking is How to Outsmart the Game of Reality. And I'm a quarter of the way through.
A quarter of the way, okay.
Yeah. Books are long to write, you know.
Reckon it's finished this year?
Because it has to be timeless. Yeah, it'll be finished.
And released?
It'll be finished in the next 2-3 months. By May, my birthday. Oh no, the spiritual niggas are gonna get me now. I know. They're probably reading my astrological signs right now.
Mhm.
You know, a nigga messaged my boy saying, "When's Nero's birthday?" My boy was like, "Why?" He was like, "Tell me his birthday." My boy was like, "Why do you want his birthday?"
Tell me his birthday.
He's like, "Why? Tell me his birthday." Like, I was like, "You crazy?" Blocked him.
That is scary, bro.
I had someone ask for my blood type.
Yeah, that's insane. To be honest, I don't even know my blood type.
Watch out for the vampires, bro. The next thing, I don't know what number we are at now, if I'm being honest, guys. But the next thing you need to do if you want to ruin your reality is attempt to outwork your frequency. If you want to ruin your reality, outwork your frequency, because this is what 90% of the world do. And 90% of the world simply operate reality from the physical plane. There's 3 planes of existence. Successful manifestation requires alignment across all 3 planes of existence: mental, physical, spiritual. Most people operate from the physical plane solely without realizing that the physical plane only allows you to see 0.0035% of what actually exists. And because that's how much you see, that means that what you see is eventually going to be directly reliant on your action, which means that action, being from a fraction of reality, means that action is the lowest level of consciousness. And because action is the lowest level of consciousness, the lowest levels of change can be made from action. Now, that's not to say that action is useless. Please don't conflate me with those spiritual niggas that say action isn't something you should do, because you very much should. There's 3 planes of existence. But to outwork your frequency is nonsensical, because your frequency is causality, not your action. I repeat, your frequency is causality, not your action. Your frequency is ultimately what creates your reality. Your frequency can be interchangeable with your consciousness, your state of mind, your beliefs, your emotionally charged thoughts, your identity, the placement of your focus, your moods, your attitudes, so on and so forth. And due to the fact that your frequency is causality, most people are attempting to outwork their frequency. You can't be mentally broke, but then try to take the physical action of trying to be rich. Because if you do so, what you don't realize is that that frequency of being broke essentially traps you into a box where you can only experience that particular degree of whatever it is mentally. You can't outwork your frequency. You can't. I promise you, you can't. And there's so many examples of this all over our lives. I always give my most obvious basic example. Somebody who is mentally unfit but attempts to take physical action of being fit will eventually, even if they go to the gym for some time, they'll fall off. They'll fall off. The diet will stop. They'll stop going to the gym. It will rain. They'll be like, it's raining. It'll be 5. They'll be like, oh, the gym's gonna be packed. If it's a Friday, they'll be like, oh, I've been good this week, huh? Let me get a burger this week. And it's due to the fact that you're mentally unfit. And if you're mentally unfit, you can't outwork that frequency, because your attempt to outwork that frequency is an attempt to outwork causality. But the physical plane is the realm of effect. And because it's the realm of effect, in order for you to change your reality, you need to first change the cause. But when you just try to focus on the physical plane, you're trying to change an effect by changing an effect. That is a big no-no. That don't make sense. That don't make sense. No, you like that one. You can't outwork your frequency. Not at all. Your focus actually needs to be entirely on your frequency, because then when you're actually in the right frequency and you've done everything that you need to do to get into the right frequency, when you begin to take physical action, everything will fall in line. There won't be that particular degree of struggle. Now, bear in mind, physical action will require effort. Effort isn't a bad thing. Struggle is the issue. When you're struggling to do something, that shows that you're out of alignment with yourself mentally. Effort and struggle aren't the same. Struggle is effort combined with a form of negative energy. That's a bar, write that down. And I say that to say that that negative energy will only be a direct reflection on if you're attempting to take action out of a frequency that you're not in. If you're attempting to become rich physically, but mentally you're broke, becoming rich will feel like a struggle. But I was with people that just feel like making money is just effortless. And they're talking hundreds of K, millions, and they're just talking about it like a standard thing. Normal. And it's because they're already in that particular state, so physically it's easy to achieve. If you ever meet somebody who goes to the gym, them niggas love going to the gym. It's like, calm down, bro. Like, calm down. You seen that Davido video where the guy's like, Davido.
Oh yeah.
He's like, calm down, fan love.
Calm down, Davido. Calm down, nigga. Calm down. Fat love.
But quite literally, you have to come to the understanding that you can't outwork your frequency. Unfortunately, your frequency is the box that you live in. No physical action can take you out of that box. The only thing that can take you out of that box is a shift in frequency. And a shift in frequency is a shift in state of mind, consciousness, your beliefs, your emotionally charged thoughts, the placement of your focus, your identity, and your base moods and attitudes. You can't outwork your frequency. I repeat this, guys, please. Because every once in a while, no matter how many times I say this, every once in a while, because we're so conditioned to associating action with result. We're so conditioned to taking action with result. If I want to put something on this board, I must take the physical action. Our minds, our ego is always associating action with result. But result is not based upon action. Result is based upon mind. Action is the midpoint. It's the midwife of that particular energy into reality. That's a bar of that down. Whoo, that was serious. But quite literally, yeah, can't work your frequency. Frequency is priority though.
I struggle to be broke.
Okay.
I don't struggle to be rich.
When you gonna get up here on the board, bro?
You want to put me on the board?
I don't know why that feels like that needs a pause, but I'm just gonna say
doesn't.
it. No, I'm just saying it just didn't feel right though. When you said it, it just didn't feel right.
That's why I repeated it to you so you can.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
just
right.
taking what you just said. You know?
I'm not taking in anything.
Alright, that Piers Morgan clip is too funny.
Too funny. So.
This the last one. It's the last one, right?
I don't know. Maybe. Fucking find out, mate. We will find out. Anytime I talk to Americans, they always attempt to do a British accent and they always speak about tea every time.
Their accent's actually vile.
It's actually so terrible. Americans, please stop sending me your English accents, please. In fact, anybody stop that, please. How can I actually be in Italy and these niggas don't serve no pizza or pasta? You know, I was in disbelief. Like, I couldn't believe it. Bro, I could not believe it. I thought they were trolling me. They were like, no, but we have lamb rump. Nigga, what?
Now, the word rump don't sit right with me still.
Yeah, it doesn't, does it?
Rump.
Yeah.
Nah, Americans are funny. You know how TikTok went down and everyone thought it wasn't gonna come back or some shit?
Yeah.
How comes all these Americans were exposing their deepest, darkest secrets?
Oh, swear down.
I'm talking influencers talking about, she's a gym influencer and she basically said, I lied to you guys, I got a BBL. This wasn't because of the gym.
She's manifest.
And then when it came back, all of them were like, we were just joking. It was just a joke. Nah.
Hey, man. Manifesting it one way or another, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Cool. I think this is the final thing. How do I say this? Yes. I think I have a good illustration for this too. You are now looking at one smart black boy. Mama ain't raised no fool. Put me anywhere in God's green earth, a triple my worth. I will not lose. Emotionally reacting. This is the final thing. If you really want to ruin your reality, this is the nail in the coffin right here, mate. This is it, mate. This will do it to you. Quite literally, emotionally reacting. Now, the reason why this is one of the worst things you can do is due to the fact of what emotion is. Emotion is one of the most, if not the most, powerful energy source in reality. Hence why everything wants your energy. Whether it's people, whether it's spirits, whether it's entities, everybody wants energy. That's all anybody wants. That's all anybody wants. Anybody will just want your energy. And your emotion being your most powerful energy source, your old frequency will actually seek to target an emotional reaction out of you by purposely making things go wrong, things go left, which those in of itself is an illusion. Things can never go left, things can never go wrong. Due to the fact that it will target things by creating a particular degree of adversity in your reality, it knows that if I push their buttons, I'm going to get a particular reaction. And if I push their buttons and I get a reaction, I get an emotional reaction. If I get an emotional reaction, I get the most powerful energy that they have. If I get that energy, I can feed off that energy. If I can feed off that energy, I can get faster, stronger. Quite literally though, it will be stronger because you have to understand your old frequency is almost like a parasitic entity. It feeds off you, and it feeds off you by ironically creating issues in your life to create an emotional reaction off you so it can feed off your energy. Now, if you emotionally react, let's say everything's going good and you're doing everything, you're going to your desired reality right here. You're going straight to the D, pause, and you emotionally react to something going terribly wrong. That emotional reaction is powerful enough to quite literally change the direction that you're energetically moving towards at that particular time and send you down a path to emotional reaction. Now, based upon what that emotional reaction is calibrated to, which more often than not is irritation, annoyance, frustration, despair, sadness, depression, so on and so forth, you then end up entering a reality that reflects that particular degree of emotions that you was experiencing. Because now you're like, fuck, went wrong. Maybe you're frustrated, maybe you're irritated, maybe you're annoyed, maybe you're in a state of despair. Whatever it is, those particular emotions then seek to curate your reality. And quick, easiest examples of this is, let's say you start your day and everything's going good. You're going to work and then somebody's driving slow in front of you thinking, I'm going to be late, this nigga needs to hurry up. Then red light goes, you're like, oh, fuck. And then somebody pulls out in front of you, beeps their horn. Instantly, the direction that you had began with your day has completely shifted now. It's shifted now due to the fact that your emotions have changed. Your emotion is the largest shareholder of your frequency. Stop thinking and listening to these niggas that tell you it's your thoughts that create reality. Not all thoughts are made equal. The only thoughts that have the potentiality of materializing in reality is your most emotionally charged repeated thoughts. The biggest energetic charge, your emotion, creates an energetic charge. That's what enters your subconscious mind. Emotion is the only language of the subconscious mind. That's essentially what we're going for. But if you experience a particular degree of intense emotions and negatively react, it changes the direction that you go. And if it changes the direction you go, you end up entering a reality that now is molded around the emotion that you experience. So now your day, niggas are just pissing you off. The way somebody breathes, you just look at somebody, you're thinking, so fucking annoying. This is terrible. Da 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 da. Quite literally. So you need to stop emotionally reacting to reality and actually shift to a particular degree of emotionally responding to reality. But let's not say emotionally responding, let's just say responding without emotion. And the only way you're going to respond is to ask yourself this one question. What would my desired reality version do? What would the version of me, my desired reality, do? How would they move right now? How would they deal with this person? How would they deal with this going wrong? How would they deal with this? How would they deal with this? How would they deal with that? If you can ask yourself that question, you then frame reality through the lens of your desired reality. And ironically, the way that you look at the world is the way the world looks back at you. And if you begin to look at the world through the lens of your desired reality, guess who the world is going to see you as? Your desired reality self. Because your perception equates to your projection. But you need to make sure that your perception isn't being used against you by your old frequency to frame things as absolutely terrible and things are going bad and this person pissed me off and this is so bad. Why do they keep doing this? Why are they so annoying? No. What would the version of me and my desired reality do? Once you put on those lenses, you begin to see reality through those lenses and you don't realize you see reality through a lens already. So guys, if you want to keep ruining your reality, please go ahead and do those things. It's been a pleasure as always.
Oh shit, wasn't recorded.
Here, my man.